तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनर्पितं चरिञ्चिरात् कारुण्यवतीं कलौ समर्पयितम् उन्नतजरसाम् हरिपुरसुन्दरधुति कदम्ब सन्देभिता सदा हृदय कन्द्रेषु सूर्यतो वै सचिनन्दन। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपीकांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वृंदाई तुलसी देवी प्रियाई केशवस्चा कृष्ण भक्ति हृदय देवी सत्यवते नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे कृष्ण। Seeing all of you after a long time, and in this Purushottam month, we had two Bhagavad Saptas, one in English and one we just completed few days back in Hindi. And many devotees, especially those who are Hindi speaking, they really appreciated how even we are also located in different locations, but still in this situations we are still having Bhagavad Sapta as we used to have earlier years. And then recently all got this book, audiobook called Bhajan Raise by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So that was on the edge of completion. So I did in just 2 days that was completed and was published. And that's the reason why I was not able to continue classes, because I wanted to finish that book as soon as possible. One other book coming soon, maybe in just less than a week. So we're still working on that. Hope you all are getting benefited by that. Shorter month soon coming to end. I think another 4 or 5 days left. But when we started this, we heard Radha Tattva from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, from Ujjwal Mani, from Srila Gurudev's lectures, the glories of Radha Rani. So I'd like to continue with this. You all want to hear? Raise your hand. Okay. कृष्ण कांत गण देखी त्रिविध प्रकार, एक लक्ष्मी गण पूरे महिषी गण आर, ब्रजांगना रूप आर कांता गण सार श्री राधिका हेते कांता गणेर विस्तार. Kaviraj Goswami explaining. The beloveds of Radha, the beloveds of Krishna is of three kinds. One is the Lakshmis, all Lakshmis from Vaikuntha. There are so many Vaikunthas, and Krishna, with all its incarnations, they stay in all these Vaikunthas, and Lakshmi, all Lakshmis serve the incarnations of Krishna. And then those queens in Dwarika, they serve Krishna. Then the gopis of Braj. These three, sorry, these three, they are the beloveds of Krishna. But these three categories, who are they? They are extensions of Radha Rani. Amongst the Lakshmis of Vaikuntha, amongst the queens of Dwarika, and in the Braj Gopis. There are so many, right? How many Lakshmis? And there is no countability. The queens of Dwarika, 16,108. And how many gopis? So many. So, first of all, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explaining, amongst all, Braj gopis are superior. And amongst all, Radha Rani is the topmost. Radha Rani is the essence of all the Braj gopis. So therefore she is so superior. Now, in the commentary of this, Srila Gurudev explaining some important points. Srila Gurudev saying, because of different categories of love, so I'm taking a little time because I have to translate what is written here. It's written in Hindi, so I have to translate that. Because of different categories of prem, accordingly, the prem of all these are established, or we can say categorized, like the Lakshmis of Vaikuntha, the queens of Dwarika, and the Braj Gopis. In Vaikuntha, this is a very important point. For us, it's easy because we are hearing this again, and again. But for those who are non-devotees or they are just neophytes, for them it is very difficult to digest because they think Lakshmi, she's full of opulence. So Lakshmi is superior than any other woman. Lakshmi is the consort of Lord Narayan, and Narayan is full of opulence, right? Another point comes is even the queens of Dwarika, they are queens. So much opulence is there. So they are superior. But but the gopis of Braj, they are just cowherd women. They're only and the activities of those gopis are what? To milk cows, to make cow dung patties, to milk cows, boiling milk. Lakshmi never do this. Hmm. The queens of Dwarika, they have so many maid servants. They never do this. But gopis, they broom their courtyard. Yadone Havane Lepane. Bhagavatam says they're brooming, they're cleaning with their own hands. They're milking cows. They're making cow dung patties and milking, um, sorry, boiling milk on stove, taking care of children, etc., etc. So a common understanding says, oh, they don't have opulence, but Lakshmi is full of opulence. The queens of Dwarika are full of opulence. So therefore, they are superior than the Braj gopis. This can be an ordinary consideration, but in spiritual world, it's totally different. Material world is replica of spiritual world. Uh, so what Gurudev wants to say here is, just like example, Krishna of Braj is only two arm form of Krishna, Shama Sundar, carrying flute in his and is playing flute. But when Krishna goes to Dwarika, means Dwarkadish Krishna, Devki Nandan Krishna, four arms. Okay, Narayan, Vishnu, four arms. Some incarnations of Vishnu, 6 arms. And some incarnations, 8 arms. Just like um, when the Lord came to protect Gajendra, he was having 8 arms with all weapons in each and every hand. So if someone can see this, oh, the Lord has 8 arms or 4 arms, that means he's superior. One who has 8 arms means he's superior. One who has 4 arms is little inferior. But one who has only 2 arms, he's not he's not opulent. But from spiritual perspective, but from spiritual understanding, it's all different. When there are more arms, or when I can say, when there is exhibition of more opulence, then that personality is not superior. Lesser the number of arms, less the opulence, and more sweetness, and more superior. Krishna 2 arms, Brajendra Nandan, he is Swayam Bhagwan. All other incarnations emanate from him. Therefore, 2 arms. माधुरे भगवत्ता सार ब्रज कैलो प्रचार तहा शुक व्यासेर नंदन वर्णित आचे जनायते चैतन्य चेतामित से Madhure Bhagavata Sa. What is the essence of Bhagavata? What is the essence of Lordship? It's not the opulence. The essence is Madhure. The essence is Madhure. And where Madhure means sweetness. Where the most Madhure or sweetness is exhibited, in which pastime? In Brajamandal, in Shri Vrindavan. Therefore, Krishna in Vrindavan is more opulent than all other incarnations. So therefore, just like Krishna, similarly the beloveds of Krishna, those who have Kanta Bhav, who serve Krishna, or incarnations of Krishna in the beloved form, beloved mood, sorry, they are Lakshmis, categories Lakshmis, queens, and the Braj Gopis. And all of them, directly or indirectly, they are incarnational manifestations of Radharani. The Braj Gopis, they are direct manifestations of Radharani. Kaya Vyuha emanate from Radharani herself. Whereas queens and the Lakshmis, they are not, we can say direct, but indirect manifestation to serve Krishna. As many form Krishna said, Radharani is there to serve all those forms. So, because in Vaikuntha, the opulence of Lord Narayan is superior, means if we compare with two aspects, one is opulence and other is sweetness. How we understand the nature of a person. Some person is a mode of ignorance. Some person in a mode of passion. Some person in the mode of goodness. There's a chapter, Bhagavad Gita, I think it's 17th chapter. If you read that chapter, you will see, you will find out what Krishna is to say to Arjuna about three modes of nature. And he's explaining what is the nature, the constitution, the qualities of those person who are in these three modes of nature. And what food is in what mode of nature. Krishna spoke in Bhagavad Gita. Some food, mode of goodness. Some food, mode of passion or increased passion. And some ignorance. So, different tendencies of people. So, anyone who's in a mode of ignorance, he or she only likes that particular mode and only like that particular food. That shows the nature of that person. Even though three modes of nature are present in everyone, okay, but among these three, some modes are very prominent, some are medium, and some are very low. Okay, otherwise everyone is controlled by three modes of nature. That's Prakriti, that's nature. The nature is made of the three modes of nature. So sometimes we see in a person very sober, quiet, etc., etc. So if you read Bhagavad Gita, we'll come to know that. I think it's 17th chapter, 17th and beginning of 18th. You read that. Krishna is explaining this modes of nature because it's Prakriti, which is nature, the constitution of nature. Yeah. So we see mode of goodness very prominent, but other modes are there, they get subsided because mode of goodness is very prominent. In some person, mode of passion, very prominent. Some goodness is there, very little. And then some ignorance is there also. And some person, ignorant, very high ignorance, but very slight tinge of goodness, sometimes. So do we have to be always in these three modes of nature? What is the nature of devotees? They are nirguna, beyond these three modes of nature. Okay. They're beyond these three modes of nature. They are in a nirgun state, and the pure devotees of Lord. Three modes of nature can't even touch them, can't even affect them, because we are in these three modes of nature. So that's why sometimes we act ignorant, sometimes we are passionate, and sometimes also we are in goodness. Hmm. There is a way. If I know I'm ignorant and I can judge myself, I'm full of ignorance, and now I want to improve myself. How we can improve? Uh, by adopting those means in which my nature of goodness can enhance. What I have to do, when I have to sleep, when I have to get up, what time I have to get up, and what I have to eat, what things I have to give up. Then gradually take time, and gradually one develops that. Because practicing that mode of goodness, a person gets uh, holding so much mode of goodness. Although we all want to be in a mode of goodness, no one wants to develop. I'm speaking about devotee section. No one wants to develop the mode of ignorance, even though we are ignorant. No one wants to develop the mode of passion, even though we are passionate. Uh, everyone wants to come on the stage of mode of goodness. So one practice not for passion or ignorance, but practice for goodness. So bhakti can, the mode of goodness, only facilitate a person, means a sadhak, to uh, practice bhakti nicely. Only facilitate. But mode of goodness, adopting the nature of mode of goodness and performing bhakti, that's not ultimate. The ultimate is transgressing the three modes of nature, even mode of goodness. Understand? Demigods, they are very prominent. They're so much prominent in the mode of goodness. Other modes are though present, but like a smell or a small little fraction. But mode of goodness is very, very prominent. Human being, mode of passion. Everything surrounding us is mode of passion. So other modes are there, but passion is very prominent. Demons, mode of ignorance. Very powerful, very prominent in them. All these ghosts and all these subtle bodies, they always stay in that place where there is mode of ignorance. Cremation, cemetery, okay. And if a person is not clean, if the house is not clean, etc., etc., it's a mode of ignorance. So they are very prominent. The point I wanted to say here is just like our nature depends on the three modes of um, material nature. So, similarly, Bhagwan, we are not judging his nature, but two aspects. One is opulence, another is sweetness. And our acharyas, they judged and they gave a formula, like I can say one formula to judge who is superior. Okay. Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy is full of judgments. It's not like ordinary Sanatan Dharma philosophy. Oh, everyone is same. But our philosophy, everyone is not same. In Sanatan Dharma Mandir, they say, or any ordinary Hindu temple, they say all Hindus, no, all devotees are same. There is no difference. Devotee means devotees. Why are you trying to discriminate them? And sometimes people get upset when any temple they are hearing these details and deep thoughts of our Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. They get bewildered. They can't hold that. They have no foundation. They think devotees, devotees. Hanuman is same. Arjun is same. There was, he's still present, a very famous a person who recites Srimad Bhagavat, a speaker. Nice person, good devotee. Then he very fluent in all the Shastras. I'm speaking about 12 years back. He became very famous in Vrindavan. And no doubt he knew and he read so many philosophies. And everyone was running to hear his Harikatha. But only thing lacking was he never ever, it seems like he never ever come across the philosophy of Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Because he said, he used to say, and later on he changed his point of view. He used to say, I am hearing in Vrindavan some Vaishnav philosophies, some Vaishnavas saying that there is discrimination in Bhagwan. He said, oh my God, that's too much. That's too much. Why are they saying like this? And what comparison he gave? He said, if you see the udder of cow, they all look similar. What comes from the udders of cow? Milk. And what is the color of milk? White. It's not that from one section milk, white milk, other section black milk or yellow milk. They all same. And he went to far extent saying, oh, these Vaishnavas. And he was pointing out to Gaudiya Vaishnavas. These Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they go so far, they are not even sparing the Lord and trying to create discrimination and groupism. Yeah. This is what he used to say. Those who were not familiar with Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, they really like this idea. But then some Gaudiya Vaishnava Vaishnavas who know fully knowledgeable, they went to him and spoke to him very politely. Please read the books of Rupa Goswami. Please read the books of Jiva Goswami. Please read the books of Sanatana Goswami, all our acharyas. And then come to conclusion. And maybe then he started reading those, and then he understood that we Gaudiya Vaishnava, we are not trying to discriminate. Yeah, we are trying to highlight the two aspects, not to judge the Lord. Bhagwan is same and Bhagwan is one. The Lord is one. But there are different aspects of Lord. And that makes tartamya, differentiation. The word is differentiation. And what is that? All based on 2 points. Opulence and sweetness. Aishwarya and Madhuri. When there is highest exhibition of opulence and less sweetness, okay, from the spiritual perspective, that particular incarnation is, I don't have another word, inferior as compared to those incarnations where opulence is less and sweetness is more. Understand? The same thing which I said earlier. Lord having 8 arms, so much opulence. Krishna having 2 arms, Krishna also have 4 arms. When there are more exhibition of opulence, that's inferior. When there is more sweetness, that is called Bhagavata Sar. Madhure Bhagavata Sar. The essence of Bhagavata. Bhagavata means Lordship. Is present in sweetness, not in opulence. Understand? So therefore, what's happening in Vaikuntha? In Vaikuntha, Lord Narayan is served. He is full of opulence and is served by his beloved Lakshmi, but also with love. But what kind of love? Love with opulent mood. Therefore, that prem, that love which Lakshmi have for Lord Narayan, there is some slackness. There is some gap is there. Some reservations are there. Some formalities are there. Understand? Some distance is there. That's the nature of Vaikuntha and the nature of Lakshmi serving Lord Narayan in Vaikuntha. Distance. If she is massaging the lotus feet of Lord Narayan, okay, and Lord Narayan, he don't want to get massage, and he wants to play with Lakshmi, or he wants to just sleep or whatever. But she take, no, this is my service. I will not leave my service. And she keep on massaging. So some reservations are there. Lakshmi, we never heard. Lakshmi goes to Man. She gets sulky. We never hear. We never hear Sita Devi, the consort of Lord Ram, manifesting Man. We never hear this. Because the opulent mood is very predominating there. Maybe some occasions, but very rare. Sita Devi. Rukmani in Dwarika? No. Satyabhama? Always. Always. So, the expansion of Radharani in Dwarika is Satyabhama. Expansion of Chandravali is Rukmani. Therefore, the same mood prevails there. But in Vrindavan, gopis, they do manifest that sulky mood. And amongst all the gopis, Radharani. There is no formality there. Means, when we say though no reservation of formality, means there is, even the opulence is there. It's not that opulence is not there. The complete opulence is there, but that's covered by sweetness. So always remember in spiritual world, these 2 words, Aishwarya, Madhuri, the opulence and sweetness. Brahmaji says in Brahma Samhita, Chintamani prakar sadmashu kalpa vriksha laksha vriteshu surabhir abhipalayantam Lakshmi sahasra satya sambram sevyamanam govindamadi purusham tamam bhajami. The land of Vrindavan is full of Chintamani. Chintamani means touchstone, not one, He's just lying here and there, everywhere. What can be more opulent than this? All trees there, they are desire uh, fulfilling trees. And Lakshmi Sahatra Satya Sambramna Sevamanam. All gopis who are Lakshmi Sarupa means beautiful, beautiful, talented, all qualities. Krishna is being served by all those Lakshmis. So the Bhumi, the land of Vrindavan, even though so much opulence is there in extreme, more than Vaikuntha, but the qualities that's covered by sweetness. That's the speciality of Vrindavan Dham. So Lakshmi in Vaikuntha, she serves Lord Narayan with that reservation mood, reverential mood, and with the knowledge, opulence. That's why there is some distance. And when there is some distance, then the prem is Shekhar. Shekhar means then in Dwarika, in Dwarika, both are present. Opulent mood is there and sweetness is also there. There's a comparison. In Vaikuntha, only opulence mood. In Dwarika, opulence and sweetness together. So the queens of Krishna, they also have opulence mood but also sweetness. So that's why Dwarika is better than Vaikuntha. Still, that prem is not fully developed in Dwarika. When Gurudev is saying the prem is not fully developed in Dwarika means not complete sweetness. That sweetness having some obstructions. And that obstruction is the opulence. They also have reservations. They have so many other considerations. They are Samanjasya Rathi. Means by serving Krishna, the mood is service, no doubt. And the prema is there, no doubt. Their only object of love is Krishna, no doubt. Day and night remembering of Krishna, no doubt. They also feel separation from Krishna, no doubt. But still, it's not fully developed brain. Like a bird. A bird gets developed. But we cannot say it is fully blossomed. It's still something is there. But when the flower is fully open, yes, we can say now. So this is how the comparison of Vaikuntha, Dwarika, and then Braj. Yes, Gurudev is saying in Braj, even though Krishna is full of opulence, Braj in Vrindavan, Aishwarya and Madhuri, sweetness and opulence is incomplete, but the opulence is covered by sweetness. And that's the reason the mood of the Braj Gopis is complete. The prem of Braj Gopis, the love of Braj Gopis is Purnatam. Purna, Purnatar, Purnatam. Most complete. Complete, more complete, most complete. So most complete is in Braj Gopis in Vrindavan. So, in Narad Pancharatra, we have some evidence where Naraji is speaking to Mahadev. Naraji is speaking to Mahadev. Radha अवाम शम संभूता माँ लक्ष्मी परिकीर्तिता ऐश्वर्य अधिष्ठात्री देवी ईश्वरी से भी नारद तदंश सिंधु कन्या च क्षीरोदन मंथनोद्भवा मर्त्य लक्ष्मी च देवी पत्नी क्षीरोदशायिनी तदंश सर्वलक्ष्मी च शक्रादीना गृहे गृहे स्वयं देवी महालक्ष्मी पत्नी वैकुंठ शयनी सावित्री ब्रह्मणा ब्रह्मलोके निरामय सरस्वती द्विधा भूता पुरेव साग्य हरे. So many verses are there. The meaning is the predominant deity of Lord in Vaikuntha. Sorry, the predominant deity of opulence of Lord in Vaikuntha is Mahalakshmi. Okay, this Mahalakshmi, she manifested from left side of Radharani, from the left portion of Radharani. Who? Mahalakshmi. Okay. From the left portion of Radharani. Then Lakshmi, which emanates from the churning of ocean. You know, most of the times, many times we heard Bhagavad Katha, and that pastime, the churning of ocean between demigods and demons. And when they were churning ocean, Lakshmi, beautiful Lakshmi, emanates from the ocean. Therefore, Lakshmi is known as Sindhu Kanya, the daughter of ocean. This Lakshmi, the daughter of ocean, is known as Mart Lakshmi. Mart Lakshmi. And she is wife of Shirodashai Vishnu. So this Lakshmi is the part and parcel, a portion of Mahalakshmi. You understanding what I'm saying? The Mahalakshmi from Vaikuntha, she emanates from the left portion of Radharani. And her further expansion is that Lakshmi which emanates from the ocean, the churning of ocean. And then demigods are also have some Lakshmi with them. That Lakshmi is known as Swarga Lakshmi. Different name. And this Lakshmi is another, further portion of that Lakshmi. The Lakshmi from the ocean. So Mahalakshmi is Vaikunteshwar, the wife of Vaikunteshwar, wife of the Lord of Vaikuntha. This Mahalakshmi. So in essence, all these Lakshmis, who is their origin? Origin is Radharani. That's the reason all these Lakshmis, even sometimes they don't have access to serve Radharani or to have darshan of Radharani, even though they are so much opulent. So we can imagine what is the opulence of Radharani. That all these Lakshmis, they have no access to serve her, who have access to serve Radharani. The manifestations of Radharani, Kai Vyuha, means all those gopis. Hmm. And Radharani with all these gopis are serving Krishna. So demigods, demigoddesses, Lakshmis, they have no access to Krishna, to serve Krishna, to develop love with Krishna. Because they are far, far, even though they are manifestation of Radharani, but they have no access. This is Radha Tattva. So when we discuss Radha Tattva, that means Tattva, Vichar, and Ras Vichar. When we hear the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, or she is so expert in teaching to Shuk and Sari, parrot, and she is manifesting sulky mood. All these are Ras Vichar. But what is the Tattva Vichar? What is the Tattva of Radharani? We also need to know that, because by hearing that, it gives us complete information and a determination and a better understanding. What is the Swarup of Radharani? What is the superiority of Radharani? Why everyone wants to have the dust of the lotus feet of Radharani? Why Lakshmi from Vaikuntha, she came to Krishna and want to serve Krishna. And in return, Krishna replied, you have to take shelter of lotus feet of Radharani. So Lakshmi sat in tapasya. Where? In Belvan, which is near to Vrindavan. Lakshmi sat in tapasya to be with Krishna. But she is not ready to fulfill one condition. Not ready to fulfill one condition. And what is that? Taking shelter of the lotus feet of Radharani. Anaradhya Radha Padam Bhujarenu Manashita Vrindam Atitiyat Padankam Asambhashya Tadabhav Gambhir Chitta. She Lakshmi is not ready to accept. So this is Tattva of Radharani. Rest we will hear tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Radha Rani ki